Boy, Christmas is really fun when it's full of killing. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. How you guys doing? And I gotta say, Merry Christmas. We are going to talk about probably the most popular Christmas horror movie of all time, and that is the 1974 film, Black Christmas. Last Christmas. So, I've been wanting to talk about this film for a hot minute, but I decided this is going to be the year where we're going to talk about Christmas movies.
No way!
And I don't know if every year I'm going to do Christmas theme for December, but I felt really jolly. Black Christmas. Everyone says it's the best Christmas. Anyone who I ever see in the comments of talking about Christmas movies for horror, everyone always talks about Black Christmas. So I decided I had to watch it a couple years ago, and I actually rewatched it for this movie, and because, well, it's Christmas season. You gotta watch a Christmas movie. And I really like this one. A lot of people say it's like one of the first slasher films. Obviously, Halloween is what really made slasher what it is. This is not. This is the 1974 film. This came out before Halloween. Now, is there a lot of gore? No. Is there a lot of blood? Also, no, not really. There's like one scene where there's blood, but that's about it. The rest of the film is just kind of a cat and mouse game of trying to figure out where the killer was, because all these girls are mysteriously being taken away and killed. You as a watcher know, but everyone in this house doesn't. This is a sorority home where there is 10 girls that usually live there, and then they have their sorority mom, I think that's what she's called, and they're all in there. And this is, of course, during Christmas time. And a couple of the girls already left, but at the beginning of this movie, this random man, and it's only shot through his POV of him about to go into right through the front door. It opens and he leaves and he climbs up the side of like I always thought they were like, it's for plants. It's like the vine fence thing. And he climbed up there, climbed through the attic. And that's where he's just chilling. And the rest of this movie, you see him sometimes will creep down in the attic and kill somebody. He kills somebody in like the first like 10 minutes. And that's where it starts off, where everyone's trying to figure out what happened to Claire. Because Claire's dead. No one knows. And the best part is about this movie is you as the watcher, you know obviously what's going on, but these characters don't know, because truth be told, why would they really know and keep an eye? Because a lot of these girls are leaving for the holidays, and it's almost the perfect time for these killings and not really know what exactly is going on. And I really like that in this movie. It's very fun and different. And then you have, of course, you have more girls getting killed, and you have the OG, the GOAT of Lois Lane in this movie. And she's definitely not Lois Lane in this this movie, but you definitely see Lois Lane in this. It's awesome. And there is things, and the only thing I don't like is kind of how they treat the cops. I don't like how the cops are in this, and it's a very typical thing for the slashers to either make the cops way too serious or just complete idiots. And they have one cop that he just doesn't really care, and then you have a detective that actually is a good character in this, so there's that. But you have the lead character, Jess Bradford, and I actually like Jess a lot. I think she's a really fun, good main character where she just really cares about everyone, and she's just trying to figure out what is going on. And throughout this whole thing, she's also dealing with this man named Peter, and this movie does a really, really good job at making you think Peter is the actual killer, because there's parts where Jess gets home and she's like on the phone, and you just see steps coming down, and it's through a POV of the killer, and you find out it's Peter, and he's just been chilling there mysteriously. And the whole time you're watching like, well, couldn't this have been the killer? I really like that ploy of it. Even the police believe this could be the killer, and I really like that element. And I kind of like On the Fritz, and this actually fights a thing that still goes on until this day, and we're not gonna really talk about that political thing, but we're going to talk about that Jess is pregnant with Peter's kid, and she wants to abort it, but Peter doesn't. Instead, Peter wants to get married and just have her do nothing. But she's like, well, I still want to follow my dreams. You still have dreams and all that. He still wants to get married to her, and he's like, well, we can get married and then we can still do our thing. But it's like, she's like, I don't want to marry you. And that kind of sets Peter off. And I really like those dynamics. I like those kind of things. Like I always say in a lot of my videos, and just in general, like if you know me personally, you know that I don't really want to hear political things. But when you can do it in a way like how this book does, how this movie does, I actually really like it, and I'm really for it, because it fights both sides of it, and it shows Peter is like, these are reasons why she should do this, because Peter is a nut job. Peter is absolutely crazy. So to me, I really like that kind of element of these kind of movies. After that, You get more people getting killed. Claire's father's looking for him. And now you have all the stakeout of people looking. And throughout this whole movie, this one woman says, my daughter hasn't come home yet. And the police are like, well, maybe she's going to come home. Clearly that didn't work out. And then they do a search party and they actually find the daughter dead. And she's like a 12-year-old girl. And I wonder who killed her. Now, don't want to forget this part. The best part about this movie is the telephone scenes. Yeah, those are pretty creepy. Here's some clips.
Jesus Christ.
As you can hear, the creepiness of whoever Jess is talking to on the phone, of just these morbid things they're saying. It's like, oh my gosh. Now, whoever plays this actor, and I'm not going to look it up because I really don't want to be spoiled with it, but whoever plays Billy in this, wow, awesome way of how he does his voice throughout this whole thing, of just manipulating the audience, of manipulating the way he talks. It's just so disturbing. I really like that element. And eventually they finally call the police and tell the police, hey, there's a man that's calling me. And they actually hear it and they're like, holy crap. And they're trying to track where he's at. And the reason why they do that is they're actually starting to puzzle. All these killings are actually with this killer. And this is where they start to begin to believe that Billy is the killer. And what happens after that, which I really do like these elements of the slow peel of the onion. That's kind of what I call it. It's like a layer. It's like peeling the onion layer every single time. And with that element is when they put a tracker on the phone, it takes a long time for them to figure out where to go. That's like the biggest pain in the butt, is those elements. And the detective hears the conversation between Jess and Peter on the phone. Peter almost kind of sounds like Billy on the phone. The way that he's crying and stuff, it's like, it's really accurate almost to how Billy sounds. So the first time I watched this movie, I actually was like, oh my gosh, is that actually Peter? But then I was like, it could be a red herring though. You know, it's one of those kind of elements I like. So then the detective asked Jess where he would be, and she told him where he might be, and the detective checks, and guess what? He's not there. Well, this is all happening. Just gets a call from that killer again, and it shows, and it's just so funny because it shows the POV of the killer. It's just Barbara's room where he just killed Barbara, and he's just rocking in a chair, just big chilling. And it's just like, damn, dude, this is so messed up. And he's just on the phone, you know, telling her all like these just morbid things. And then they finally track where he's at. Detective figures out, gets told where the killer is, and that's when the big plot twist that it's in the house. Clearly all of us know this, and it almost reminds me of When a Stranger Calls, which I still think that's probably one of my favorite openings to a movie, is When the Stranger Calls. The first 20 minutes of that movie is insanely good and so scary, and then the rest of the movie is just terrible. But with this, it does that, and it's like a slow peel. And the detective tells this cop, who you don't really care about, he's just not a very good cop, hey, whatever you do not tell her this. What does he do? He ends up telling her, because she's like, well, what about the women upstairs? And he's like, look, he's in the house, you need to leave the house. And it's like, she just leaves and stays in the house. And then there's a little bit of a fiasco of her and the killer, and she hides in the basement, and the killer leaves the house. And then this is where this is where Peter just comes out of nowhere and breaks the window into the basement. To me, I'm like, why would he do this? This is where you start thinking he's the killer. And guess what? She ends up killing him at the end. Does it show it? No, you just hear a giant scream from her. And that's where I thought, oh, she is dead. Liar! Nope, they find Billy. They find Peter dead in her arms, and she's just looking at him. It moves up towards the end of this movie. You have Jess just laying in bed sleeping. But this is where things are even more interesting, because Peter was not the killer. Billy's still in the attic, just big chilling there. And he just is mocking, just out there on a cold night. Yeah, it was pretty good. So if I had to give a rating for this movie, I actually originally on my Letterboxd was a 4 out of 5. And on this rewatch, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 because I was like, dang, this movie is so good. And I kind of forgot how good this movie is. So I really liked it. I love the little plot twist at the end. I love the red herring of Peter being the killer, you think, throughout this whole movie. But it was actually just this guy named Billy that's just chilling up in the attic. We don't know anything about him or anything. He just showed up and he just started killing all these girls. Why? Don't know. He just decided to do it. And I really like that element. And there is other movies to this, and I watched them. I really like the element of what is actually going on. Like, I really do like that a lot. It's really fun. It's a lot different than typical slashers, so I really like that element of watching this movie. And it is it's a perfect Christmas movie. Like, you get to see all of Christmas, except no one opens presents, but hey, it's still a Christmas theme. Like I said, if I had to give this an honest rating, it'd be a 4.5 out of 5. Would I recommend it to everyone? Absolutely. It's nothing scary. I mean, it's a very older movie. There's not a lot of gore and stuff. The only thing that is creepy is, well, he's in the house the whole movie. He's in the house, and you as the audience knows that. So if you are someone that gets uncomfortable while someone about movies about home invasion films, I would not recommend it. But my fiance, she doesn't like those kind of movies, so I would probably never watch this movie with her unless she's more comfortable, but probably won't. But this movie, I really enjoyed it. If you guys made it to the end of this video, I do appreciate it. What other movies should I check out in the future? Let me know down below. Just any, it doesn't have to be slashers, it could just be any movie. I'll talk about it in the future. And of course, Merry Christmas and stay safe.